what I
Don't
had.
say those words. All right. So, legal, thank you for letting us pay you the big bucks so that
Yes.
we don't say those words.
Yes, we used a non-monosyllabic cuss word.
Yeah, that was pretty accurately displayed. So here's a quick recap on the competition barbecue that we did this past Labor Day weekend. When we started out, chicken was the first thing that we put in, and your chicken was spot on.
Yes.
Spot on. So we got second in chicken using the exact same recipe that we gave 3 weeks ago, maybe a month ago. Exactly the same recipe. Pretty good stuff. And depending on judges' taste, they score it higher or lower.
Yeah.
Anyway, so then we moved on to pork ribs. Pork ribs, again, they were spot on.
Yes,
Yeah.
they were spot on. They're my normal flavor profile, except I was it was a bad rule breaker, and I used the wrong kind of ribs. I used baby back ribs instead of spare ribs. Baby back ribs are at the top of the ribs. Spare ribs are down from the bottom. So I used the incorrect one, and I got disqualified.
It's tough being an adult, isn't it, Ryan?
Seemingly, yeah, but
So DQ'd on that one, which meant that we couldn't win the overall. That's okay. After the wind got taken out of our sails a little bit, we went on and put in for pulled pork. Now, if you've seen the pulled pork video, exactly the same recipe, and when we pulled the bone out of the one we videoed, it just fell apart. It was amazing. This one, not quite so much.
no, these two they cooked longer than the brisket did, and they didn't get there, and they had 14 or 15 hours on heat. I pulled them because they
Should we
needed
have
time.
gone hotter? Not so hot?
No, it was the right temperature. Just sometimes you get temperamental pieces of meat, and it just happens.
Remember that thermometer was stuck at 225. Like stuck. Didn't move. Broken.
I
All
like
right.
my pit.
So we got ninth in the pulled pork. Not the best showing. However, still dang decent pulled pork. I just made tacos this morning out of it. Then we moved on to the brisket.
That was our biggest hit whenever people were coming by and just grabbing stuff too.
Yeah, the pulled pork was amazing. The brisket it had this bark on it. And that's how I measure brisket. If you have a bark that hits me right here, and I can still taste the first time that I had good Texas brisket out in Llano, and yours was spot on with that.
Yeah, so I had the top three briskets, and they were good briskets. They had good flavor. They just didn't have as thick a bark as mine does. And all three of them are pretty similar. Mine, I make a real thick, peppery bark. I make what I jokingly refer to as an angry brisket. It's got a good amount of spice to it. It's got a crunchy bark. It's a quarter of an inch thick by the time I get done. So, yeah, my style of brisket was very different than a lot of what was being served there.
Which, if you had my wife as a judge, if that happened, my wife would be like, "No, this is the worst thing ever," because she doesn't like any spice of anything.
Yeah.
Like black pepper is a ghost pepper to her. She doesn't care for it. But anyway, we took sixth in brisket. So the thing that we came away with, we met some really cool people.
Yeah, we had a great time. We met a lot of really fun people.
I may or may not have shown up at 4 in the morning with a few people passed out around our place drinking some whiskey. May or may not. Nobody can prove it.
There were a couple people that may or may not have been passed out, and I was helping somebody because their pit was at a proper temperature to cook a pie.
Yeah, it was about 400
Yeah, I think
degrees.
it's like 375.
So he ran over there with a shovel and pulled half a tree out of their burn box, which was hilarious. And they ended up taking
congratulations,
second in
Joe,
brisket.
taking second in brisket.
That was
Well
really
done.
cool. And Joe is a great dude. We love Joe. Really cool guy. And there were a few other people who would come over and actually ask him questions on what to do. There was one pit that had 3 bays at different temperatures. And Ryan says, "So at this bay you have this and that and then this." And they were like, "No, we have that and that and this." And he goes, maybe you should check that. Come to find out, they rented the pit. They didn't know exactly how to use it. They changed it up and they placed better than regular.
Yeah.
That was really funny. I got to learn a lot about pits. I appreciate the tour day barbecue, as it were, that I had. And we're not drinking TX blended. Just letting you know. The cook's birthday, we're not going to say when it is, but this is my gift to him. It is cold brew coffee. I put a funnel up here and I filtered it twice and I broke the filter and he actually came over and properly showed me how to do it. So we are day drinking cold brew coffee.
it's a bottle he had laying around, so I guess that's what got chosen, and it was pretty fitting. Because we'll eventually redo the Texas whiskey one because we've made that video like 4 times.
We love the TX blended. It's a good daily drinker in our opinion, but we'll get there another time.
All right.
No, not so much. All right. So from the Alice in Wonderland breakfast area, thank you for joining us. Remember, the best whiskey, well, that's your favorite.
Best barbecue's the way that you like it.
Remember
Who
to
cares
be
about
like
the
the
judges?
cook. Share both.
Cheers.
Cheers.